In that case, welcome to the only slightly delayed October 1st, 2025 special board meeting of the Chico Unified School District Board of Education. We are happy to have so many people here. Thank you for coming out. First of all, let's go ahead and stamp the flag salute, please. All right. Our first item of business is the consent calendar before we get to the stuff that everyone's here for. Does any member of the board, I should say, we are expecting member Conkin. She's running a little late. She's out of the Chico High track meet is my understanding, so I hope that the person she's rooting for is doing well. But she will be here for the main event. So, anyone have an item they wish to pull from the consent calendar for further discussion? All right, seeing none, I'm going to go right ahead and ask for a motion on the consent calendar.
I'll motion to approve.
I second.
All right, we have a motion by Member Olson and a second by Member Hayes. Any discussion regarding the consent calendar? Seeing none, this is our first vote of the evening. I will ask for a roll call vote, starting with Member Olson.
Olson, aye.
Lando, aye.
Hayes, aye.
That is 4-0, 1 absent. Excellent, thank you very much. We have a couple other items of business before we get to the workshop topic. So I believe we are on 3.1, yes. This is a public hearing regarding the Williams Act. This is something we do every year just to affirm that we have enough educational material for our students. Take it away, please.
Yes, thank you. You are correct. This is at the time of year that we come to you, to the board, to certify that we do have the sufficient instructional materials for our students. We have looked on our end at all of the schools, and we do have that, so we are requesting the board approval to sign the sufficiency that we are required to submit to the county.
So on that note, we do have to hold a separate public hearing, correct? So I'm going to go ahead and open the public hearing. Do we have any comment or questions regarding the Williams Act? All right, seeing none, I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing. Do we have any other questions on this item from staff? Or for staff, sorry, from the board? Seeing none, the action that's being requested here is to approve Resolution 1701-25. Do we have a motion on that resolution?
I so move.
All right. I'll second that, sure. All right, we have a motion by Member Hayes and a second by Lando. Is there any further discussion? Sorry. Any public comment regarding the Williams Act? It's fascinating, you guys. Feel free.
Posted in every classroom.
It is. All right, I see no discussion, and I'll try and move us along. I'm sorry, guys, I'm kind of having a day. All those in favor of passing a resolution signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. It is unanimous, 4-0-1. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, the main topic of today is going to be our board workshop on athletic programming and sports offering. We are going to discuss a lot about our athletics program, though I know many of you are here to support one particular option, and I appreciate that. That said, we were hoping to hear from our public first and then have a report from staff about the state of our athletic programs and what next year might look like. That said, I would like to go right ahead to public comment, if that's okay with the rest of you. Okay, awesome. That's true. Thank you. Member Hayes pointed out that on the agenda, we do have the presentation first. I would like to move that we suspend the rules just so we can have public comment first. I know everybody's here just to say their piece, and I appreciate that. I want to get you guys up to the microphone as quickly as possible.
I move that we do that.
All right, I'll second that. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. So, as I was saying, we have a number of speakers, which is always awesome. If you haven't spoken here before, our rules are pretty simple. There's a timer back there. You have 3 minutes to say your piece. At 30 seconds, you will get a audio signal letting you know that your time is close. That doesn't mean you're done. It means you got 30 seconds to wrap up. We may interact and ask you questions. This isn't one of our normal, often during these meetings, we're not allowed to ask questions because stuff isn't on the agenda. Here we are, so if you're comfortable, we may ask you some questions, if that's okay. If you're nervous, don't be. It's just us. We are excited to hear what you have to say, okay? With that, I'd love to hear from some students. First on our list is Noah Shook.
I'm here today to talk about lacrosse, as you probably know. I started playing lacrosse in 3rd grade, and I was excited because I always saw the high schoolers playing, and I'm like, wow, I want to do that when I'm older, and maybe go pro because it's becoming a big thing and it's really fun to play. And then I realized, oh wait, we don't have any teams to play against. And that's why I want lacrosse in our high schools. We have no teams because all of our other teams have gone into their high schools as well, and there are many great opportunities to high schoolers and kids who want to go play high school when they're older. There are many scholarships opportunities, and I feel like we should not limit them. I feel like that every kid should have the opportunity to do what they want when they're older. And I just want to say, please, 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 highly consider it, and please try and put it in the high schools in Chico. And thank you.
Noah,
Thank you.
What grade are you in now?
I'm in 7th grade,
7th grade? And what school are you at?
Nord Country School.
Oh, nice.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, Noah. Our next listed speaker is Everett Gephardt. Not here right now? Okay, if that person shows up later, we will be happy to make time for them. How about Oliver Brown?
Hello. Should I move it up? Thank you. All right. My name is Oliver Brown. I'm a junior at Chico High School and have maintained a 4.29 GPA. Since 7th grade, I played lacrosse locally and nationally with the Chico Rebels and Sacramento Aces. I, alongside my friends, teammates, and Chico Unified staff and community members, have spent the last 2.5 years working to bring CIF lacrosse to Chico High and PV. When this started, all I really cared about was being able to represent my school while doing the thing that I love. This hope of mine has not gone away. However, through this process, I have realized that my ultimate goal of playing college lacrosse is still achievable. This spring, I will begin my first round of visits to schools from here in California all the way to Massachusetts. While I've learned that achieving my goals are not dependent on my high school, I've also realized something else. If we do not add lacrosse as a CIF sport, our club program will most likely fail due to no option to continue playing in high school. This would leave countless kids in my community without access to the sport. Kids who will never experience the growth that it has given me, and who will have amazing opportunities unavailable to them. I discovered lacrosse after trying several other sports that just didn't feel like the right fit. I was athletic and eager to be part of a team, but nothing really clicked. That quickly changed the day I picked up a lacrosse stick. Lacrosse is a fast-paced, exciting sport that many kids my age are interested in trying, especially if it becomes available at our high school. It is a perfect sport for those who love being active, want to be part of a team, or simply want to try something new. Because lacrosse is a no-cut sport, everyone will have the chance to play. Experience level will not be a barrier, unlike most all of our current high school sports. There will be no concerns about getting cut, riding the bench, or being too late to start. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Landon Cargill.
My name is Landon Cargill. I've been playing lacrosse since last year. My friend actually introduced it to me for the clinics of Chico Rebels. I'm glad I've played it for a year. I really like it, and all the other sports for me, I liked, but I didn't like it as much as lacrosse. Lacrosse isn't. You can get injured in lacrosse very badly, but that's what makes it fun. So you can learn and get better at the game, so you don't get hurt as bad. And I've seen natural talent at my school of lacrosse. I run a club on Fridays during lunch. I've seen people throw the ball, and I've seen people catch the ball. It is really fun, and I think we should get lacrosse at the high schools, because then it opens opportunity so people at the high schools could play, and even new players that could probably get better or go pro and I think it would be a really good opportunity so people could play. Thank you.
Thank you.
Landon,
Landon? Oh, go ahead.
I was going to ask probably what you're going to ask.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what grade you're in and where you go to school?
I'm 8th grade, and I go to Chico Junior.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, next on my list is Hogan Brown.
All right, my name is Hogan Brown, and I'm the director of Friends of Chico Lacrosse. Thank you again for having us. On August 28th, 2025, we submitted 3 documents: an analysis of spring sports survey and need for lacrosse, budget and funding, which covers expansion and long-term sustainability of lacrosse, and a plan for junior high vertical integration at all Chico junior high schools. I will be speaking to the financial component of the budget and funding for adding lacrosse programs at each high school. It is important to know that an expansion of a sport from a long-standing club program. This is one with nearly 25 years of corporate, individual, and grant-supported financial backing in our community. This is going to expand into 2 high school programs. This is not a start-from-scratch effort. Our analysis shows that to convert 1 Chico Rebels high school team into 2 CIF lacrosse programs, it is $8,450 per team in year 1. Ongoing annual costs are estimated at $8,950 per team, which includes $1,000 in reserves. These expenses cover equipment, uniforms, coaches' stipends, referees, and transportation modeled after girls' field hockey. While there are always unexpected costs and items that we may not have accounted for, our numbers are based on estimates and data from primary sources, USA Lacrosse, the National Federation of High School Sports, and CIF. Considering that lacrosse programs can grow to the size of football teams for both boys and girls, our estimates are very affordable. For comparison, CIF badminton rosters are co-ed and unlimited, but only 9 boys and 9 girls compete per team. Even with JV and varsity, only 36 boys and girls would compete in a given match or game. To ensure the stability of these sports, we plan to raise the money using the nonprofit rule of thirds, where funding distributed over 3 channels equally: individual fundraising, corporate donations, and grants. A full outline of these income sources can be found in the documents we submitted. These funds would be channeled through an independent 501c3, Friends of Chico Lacrosse, or through boosters clubs with donations and lump sums made to ASB accounts or through established policy. Both models, or a hybrid of, correspond with COSD policy and FCMAT practices. We also understand that there will be no outside oversight and input on how funds are spent. We also understand district hiring policy of coaches and that we would have no input on hiring coaches. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hogan, Mr. Brown, I just
Yes,
wanted
ma'am.
to thank you for sending in all the information.
Absolutely.
I appreciate
I'm the one talking, but it's a team effort we've put in over the last 2.5
for sure.
years. So
I just appreciate getting all the information. It's
I appreciate you taking the time to look at it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
thank you.
agreed. It was very thorough and it helps.
yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, on that note, Brian Kehoe?
My name is Brian Keogh. I've been a coach and a teacher in this community for about the last 25 years, and started the Rebels program for my son when he was in 7th grade. I just really appreciate you guys putting this on the agenda and taking the time to listen to these kids. I did a little research in terms of creating a CIF program here in Chico. We really are behind the curve. There's about 200 CIF teams in the state, and I think about 70 of them are San Francisco and north. I found on my list 13 programs that we used to schedule because they were clubs and we were clubs, but they've all gone CIF. It's really a dwindling amount of club teams. These kids aren't going to have anybody to play. So it's actually a do-or-die situation in terms of integrating this into the high schools as a CIF-sanctioned sport. If you don't do that, the sport's going to fade away in our community. The junior high kids won't have anything to aspire to. There won't be any teams for the high schools to play. There's a handful. I was just told they played the same team 6 times last year because that's the only team that they had to play, and they also traveled to Ashland, Oregon to play a team, which seems like a burden. If we go CIF, there's excuse me, a lot of, you caught myself, there's a lot of teams to play, and that was close. So anyway, I just think it's really imperative at this point, in this juncture, it's a do-or-die situation. I also want to echo your sentiment. I looked over the budget and funding proposal. These guys aren't screwing around. They've done their homework. They've done their due diligence, and I hope you all have a chance to look at it if you haven't already. It's really an amazing document, and as time runs out here, also bringing up the junior high school kids and having them given an opportunity to play. They've got a whole integration program going. I mean, they've really laid the groundwork, and I got to hand it to Hogan and the crowd that he runs with, because they've really taken the mantle and run with it. I'm just going to echo the same sentiment that a lot of the other kids have said, so I'm not going to belabor that, but we're really at a critical moment. If we don't go CIF, then it's going to die. I really feel that way. If you do, what do you have to lose? If nobody shows up, what do we have to lose? So let's just take a chance, give these kids the opportunity to play at the high school level, represent their schools, and keep this thing alive. It's really up to you guys to make that happen, and I hope you will, and I appreciate you taking the time to listen to everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kehoe. Tara Town Robbins?
It's Tara, but that's okay.
No, I appreciate you correcting me. I try to get names right, and I apologize. Tara, hi, nice to see you.
Thanks. Good evening. My name is Tara Town Robbins, and I've had the pleasure of working as a teacher for 24 years, 8 of those being at Chico Junior. Those that know me know I'm a passionate person that advocates for equity and inclusion of all students. Tonight, I want to focus on my passion for lacrosse. For the last 5 years, my son has played for Chico Rebels Lacrosse, and my husband and I have been the Chico Rebels Lacrosse board members. Hogan Brown and I have met with the school district for over 2 years to try to bring lacrosse as a CIF sport to our high schools. Every year, we've continued to reach goals of building the sport and continuing to improve our community club. We hope to continue to support lacrosse growth in any way we can. To say that our whole family fell in love with lacrosse is an understatement. I've watched my son and all his teammates grow in amazing ways playing lacrosse. Lacrosse is a unique sport with a great Native American culture influence. It teaches the importance of teamwork, communication, leadership, confidence, and good sportsmanship. I've witnessed the Chico Rebels players build these skills and use them both during the games as well as being well-rounded good leaders with their peers in their high schools. Chico Rebels has been in our community over 27 years and has opened paths for over 20 athletes to continue to play at a college level or higher. My wish is that we can have lacrosse at the high schools as a CIF sport as a great opportunity for all students. Currently, 23 high schools in the Sac Joaquin section have lacrosse programs. As of this year and last year, Chico High and PV have played 16 of those schools across multiple varsity sports. However, Chico has a unique lacrosse community. We have college lacrosse clubs, adult clubs, Chico Rebels, and our youth clubs that have built several mentorships and helping each player grow and build wonderful skills. Lacrosse is a sport that is inclusive to everyone, no matter the skill level or body type. I hope that we can bring the sport to lacrosse to even more students that would greatly benefit from learning these skills that could lead to a future full of opportunities. I like to believe that all of us have a passion for making more opportunities for all of our youth. Thank you.
Thank you.
Tara? I was curious, what do you teach at Chico Junior?
I'm one of the ed specialists.
Oh, nice. I can feel your pain about name pronunciation. I feel your pain.
Oh, it happens.
It happens.
I only corrected it because people get upset if I don't correct it. So,
Thank you.
Brooke Wells?
Hi there, good evening. My name is Brooke Wells, and I'm going to stand on my tiptoes. Hold on. I'm going to do that. I can make it happen. All right, thank you so much. So I'm Brooke Wells, and I am the parent of twin boys who are student athletes and juniors at Pleasant Valley High School. And I proudly served as the board president of Chico Rebels Lacrosse for the past 4 years. I'm honored to be part of an organization that not only builds athletes, but also fosters character, community, and opportunity. Chico Rebels Lacrosse has always stood for more than just winning games. We stand for access, inclusion, and growth, both on and off the field. And lacrosse is one of the fastest growing sports in the country, but like most sports, it can be expensive. Equipment, travel, and registration fees add up quickly in any sport nowadays. At Chico Rebels, we believe that no child should ever be turned away from the chance to play simply because of financial barriers. And so we're committed to making this sport accessible to youth from all income levels through scholarships, gear loans, and volunteer support. So in the many years that Brian was running Rebels, well before I joined the board, the Rebels have been offering scholarships to players whose families couldn't afford the registration fees. And I'm proud to say that we've continued that commitment every single year. In some cases, we've fully waived registration fees. We've also provided full sets of gear to multiple athletes each season at no cost to ensure that they're able to play. Beyond financial assistance, we've provided tangible support, such as providing transportation to players when needed, whether those parents didn't have vehicles, and we have had some of those kids, or maybe those parents had to work that day. We do whatever it takes to keep kids on the field, engaged, and part of a positive community. As a board, we've made a clear and intentional focus on financial sustainability. We actively pursue grants, partnerships, and donations. And we're excited to announce that we're working on a major fundraising event in the spring to help secure the long-term financial health of the club. At the end of the day, we believe in investing in our youth, and we've consistently shown that we're serious about getting kids onto the field, regardless of their financial situation. With the addition of CIF high school programs, this effort will only grow and flourish. We have operated on the rule of thirds for nearly 25 years and see only growth with the opportunities that CIF lacrosse can provide our student athletes. We hope to collaborate with you all on continuing to grow a program that reflects the very best of what athletics can be: inclusive, empowering, and community-driven. Thank you.
Thank you. We do have one more speaker listed, Nick Sfarzo, if you want to give us 30 seconds for our last board member to come up here and get seated so she can hear also. Might appreciate that. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Nick Sfarzo. I am a coach for the Rebels as well as a Chico and a teacher for Chico Unified. A big question for lacrosse is who would we play? For Chico High School and PV, the answer is simple: the same teams we already compete against. Both high schools are in the northern section of CIF, but PV and Chico play about 50% of all varsity sports schedules in the San Joaquin section to the south. As of this week, PV and Chico High varsity football teams have played a combined 10 games, all against Sac Joaquin CIF or northern non-section schools south of Chico. In varsity girls volleyball, the two schools have played a combined 41 games, 28 of which were against Sac Joaquin section schools. With the recent success of PV and Chico High School athletic programs, both schools have looked south to the larger and traditionally more competitive Sac Joaquin section to prepare for state championship level competition in all sports. While section titles remain a goal, state championships have quickly become both a reality and a focus for our athletic programs. Both PV High School and Chico have been invited to participate in the Capital Valley Conference for Lacrosse in the Sac Joaquin section by Assistant Commissioner Jeff Lawrenson. This league includes 6 schools, 4 of which PV and Chico already compete against in nearly all varsity boys and girls sports. The average travel distance to league opponents in the Sac Joaquin section is 71 miles from Chico, while the average travel distance to the northern section league opponent is 66 miles, making travel nearly the same. Currently, 23 high schools in the Sac Joaquin section have lacrosse programs. As of this year and last year, Chico High School and PV have played 16 of those schools across multiple varsity sports. Adding lacrosse teams to each high school expands on the competition with opponents that both high schools are already playing in nearly every varsity sport. If we want to offer more opportunities to our student athletes, lacrosse is the best choice. Other new sport options on the CUSD survey, such as badminton, don't offer the same level of competitions for our athletes. In badminton, rosters are capped at 14 with only 9 players competing per match. Unlike lacrosse, we have no nearby CIF competition for badminton. Lacrosse can not only expand athletic opportunities for our students, it can relieve pressure for our over-enrolled spring sports. Lacrosse has stood strong in this community for 27 years. It is the 3rd most played male sport outside of school-based sport and the only sport CIF sanctioned and not offered by Chico Unified. Please give our athletes a chance to compete for their school and broaden their athletic and academic opportunities. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I think I remember you're at Marsh, is that right?
Yes, I'm an English teacher at Marsh.
Ah, oh, bless you. That's a lot of grading.
Wait, so you teach like persuasive writing? That's not fair, man.
I do teach persuasive writing, yes. If I can make one more comment.
Please.
When I was in high school, I was the first member of my high school team, and I went to high school in the Bay Area. At that time, private schools were adopting lacrosse very heavily. At that time, almost no public high schools had lacrosse. I wish I had the data for you, but now almost every single private and public school in the Bay Area has lacrosse. And our school adopting that and me playing that sport is what brought me to Chico, playing for Chico State, and that's what kept me here. So lacrosse is an incredible sport. The opportunity creates ripples that can bring incredible people in and create incredible opportunities for our athletes. Thank you so much for listening and providing this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. So earlier, we had a speaking spot for Everett Gephardt. Has he arrived? No? Okay. Just thought I'd throw it out there. Not a big deal. Of course. That is all the speakers we have listed. Is there anyone else who would like to speak on this matter? We have about 2 more speaker slots that are available. Hi.
Hello. My name's Adrian Heim. I have a son who is a junior at Chico High. He's no longer playing lacrosse right now, but he started playing about 4 years ago with the Rebels group. We were looking for, he wanted to get into some kind of, contact sport. Football wasn't quite, the sport for him, and so we got into lacrosse. And, I mean, it was just absolutely incredible for him. Great experience. He got so excited about it that when we would travel around, like to see some of his friends down in the Bay Area, he'd always have his stick, bring another stick, show them these other kids. And I mean, just people gravitate to this sport. It's very exciting to watch. And so anyway, I encourage you to look at it that way. Wanted to tell one other really great story. We had a young boy, African-American boy, who was actually homeless. And we introduced him, we became friends with him, and we wanted to get him into an activity. Again, he was a little bit small, and so football was a little bit, tough for him. And so we brought him to lacrosse, and he absolutely fell in love with it. And about, I would say, 3 months after he started playing, he shot me a text, and he said, "Hey, Adrian, do you want to see who my idol is?" And I'm thinking, is he going to show me, Michael Jordan or, someone like that? And he sends me a picture of another African-American professional lacrosse player. And so, anyway, sorry, it gets me a little emotional, but he's in junior high right now, and I know he is dying and hoping that he will be able to play lacrosse in high school. And so I just think that this sport is really going to reach a lot of kids, kids that, maybe haven't tried something, because once you play it, you definitely, get hooked. So Chico High sports, PV sports are so incredible and dynamic. We have, such a great sports community here, and I just know that it will definitely thrive in the high schools. So thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Excuse me, is there anyone else who would like to speak? If you do, we can figure that out. But for now, I'd like to hand it over to staff for a presentation about our overall athletics programs and where we're at. Pedro, how's it going? Good.
I was going to say, I was going to come and correct the Tara Town Robbins. She was my teacher at Chico Junior, so I used to call her Tara, and she goes, "No, it's Tara." So I was corrected quite often. So let me fix this. All right, that's about good right there. Do you have a clicker? Thank you. I'm going to scoot this back. Right in my face. All right, well, good afternoon, school board. I'd like to thank you all for choosing Chico Unified School District's athletic programming and sports offering as a workshop. I do appreciate you all for welcoming this challenge, because I do know that this is a challenge tonight. Special thanks to board members Rebecca Conkin and Gail Olson for their guidance, to Hogan Brown and Tara Town Robbins for providing us the lacrosse information. And I'd also like to thank Chico High Athletic Director Jason Alvester and PV High School Athletic Director Pam Jackson. They're both present, along with our administrators that oversee that, Brandon Kessler and Joe Gallaty. So they're also present here today. All right, there we go. Let's talk about the effects of athletics on the foundation of students. Athletes tend to maintain a high grade point average and have strong attendance as they need to be able to participate in sports, right? Student athletes also develop strong time management skills as they have to balance doing their homework and or making up missed days due to games, of course. Student athletes also learn resilience, teamwork, leadership skills that extend beyond the field of play. Losing and winning is always something that benefits everyone. Student athletes also develop communication skills, work ethic, because if they want to be better at the sport, they have to be disciplined. And of course, goal-setting focus that are valued by colleges and employers. Participation requirements. In order for students to participate in this California Interscholastic Federation athletics, the students must maintain a 2.0 grade point average. Students can have a 1.5 GPA, grade point average, and use academic probation, but they can only use it one time during the student's high school career. There is also a credits obtained minimum that students must have. For example, as you see up there or down here, ninth grade students should have earned 30 credits to participate in team sports in the spring. So in order to participate in the spring, they should have 30 credits. For 10th graders, they already should be able to participate in the fall. They better have 60 credits. Students also have to have annual physicals, have proof of health insurance, and parents and students must attend an athlete-committed session. And that athlete-committed session is designed to educate students and parents on the benefits of sleep, proper nutrition, and address the negative effects of drugs and alcohol on training and athletic performance. Students are expected always to attend practices and games, and they all have to sign the code of conduct. And here we have all our current sports offerings, fall, winter, and spring sports. This is an overview of our program by the numbers. And this is Chico High and PV together, right? Everything that we do here today is together. 223 total coaching staff, 85 of them are head coaches, 138 assistant coaches. 14 different sports, 980 female athletes, and then 1,196 male athletes. In total, we have 2,176 athletes. I want to make sure that everybody here understands that the percentages are important, and they will be brought up under a Title IX slide. So here we have 45% of our athletes are females. It's a very important number to remember. And 55% of those are males. Okay. Let me go. Athletic sustainability. Here's our current AR, 6145.2, our district funds. Coaching salaries, this is what the district pays. We pay for coaches as per the collective bargaining agreement, which is the CBA. We pay for the athletic directors, Chico High and PV. The athletic director office assistant. There's one at Chico High. There's also one at PV. Facility maintenance, we pay for transportation. Officials for league and playoffs. That is it, league and playoffs. And then both schools receive an annual budget of $35,000. Okay. The sites fund officials for non-league contests. So if the athletic teams want to play outside of league games, preseason, in between, so on and so forth, then the school has to come up with the funding. They also have to provide transportation or pay for the transportation for non-league contests. They are responsible for the equipment purchases, repairs, replacements, uniform repair and replacements. And I will share that $35,000 of that, the vast majority does go to reconditioning of football equipment, which is really helmets and pads. now I get to review last year's presentation with regards to the California Interscholastic Federation survey results. And I do want to remind everyone here that that only included students that were in grade 9th, 10th, and 11th. Okay, this slide represents who do not play sports. The students who currently did not play sports last year, right? That might have changed, but we're talking past last year. And if you were to split this page in half, or the screen in half, on the left, you have our females, and then on the right, you have our males. On the left, our females, you will see, and once again, the students who do not play sports were interested and said that they would play the sports should they be offered. The first one was badminton, second one is beach volleyball, then flag football. For the boys, badminton, lacrosse, and then water polo. I hope so. Actually, you're telling me that you've been clicking for you. Clicking for me? Well, you're good. All right, all right, next slide then. All right, with the next slide, same thing on the left. We have our females on the right, the males, and of course, I did forget to say this on the previous slide, but the red represents Chico High, the blue represents PV. For the students who already play sports, and this is kind of a tell-all, you can read into data so many ways, but I can't tell you if they already play sports, chances are they can play another sport. That's pretty high. So with that, for our females, beach volleyball was up there. Flag football was next. Badminton was third. Water polo is way down there. For our males, we had lacrosse. That was the number one, followed by badminton and water polo.
Pedro?
Yes.
Can you go back to the?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So one of my questions to Mr. Hogan was that, for girls, and I'm well aware of the Title IX requirements, that, their lacrosse didn't place as any of these for girls, for either current athletes or those who are not current athletes. And it was.
I do want to, I want to answer that because it wasn't offered as an option on this survey.
Okay,
Yes.
that's what I wanted to clarify.
Yes.
Yeah.
There are female athletes who are interested in lacrosse.
Okay.
I want to make that absolutely clear.
Okay, thank you.
What I do not know is how many.
Right.
But I can tell you that there's several that already play on the teams.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yes. Okay, next slide. All right, so what I did here was I took the top sports. So if this board is going to look at our sports offerings, that you look at the survey, and then you start to see, hey, what are the sports that could be added to the current sports athletes? So here we go. If you are to consider some of the top choices of team sports that are represented in the survey, here are the startup costs. Please note that these are estimates on the high end. I wanted to make sure absolutely when we do budgets, I go to the high end because at least I know I'm not going to go over that. This does not include, if you look at the top row, this does not include costs being offset by donations that might come through. Okay, so I want to make that absolutely clear. So the top row, if you look at it, going startup costs, badminton, $18,500, beach volleyball, $54,000. I do want to say that's because of the pit. Flag football, $20,000. Lacrosse, $40,000. Okay, and please notice that this is based on a 25-student team. If you go down after that, after the initial year, what does it cost to maintain the program? After year one, maintenance, officials, coach's salary, or coach salary because it's really one. Badminton, $8,000. Beach volleyball, 7,500. Flag football, it can range between 7,000 and 9,500, and lacrosse between 8 to 9,500. Now, the last row that you see here is, it says Sac Joaquin season. And the reason I am showing you this is because none of these 4 sports are currently offered in the northern section. There are teams in the northern section that play some of these sports, but itself as a league in the northern section, none of them exist right now. Okay, so I want to make that absolutely clear. Thus, I put Sac Joaquin season because we would need to ask the Sac Joaquin section, hey, listen, do you mind placing us in a league? And they would probably say yes because, you know, they want us to compete, and they would put us in there to wherever, depending on our school size, they would place us in a league with similar schools. There should be a correction if you look at lacrosse. Oh, no, it's actually correct. Oh, that's great. It does say February 9th through April 23rd. All right. If someone did that for me, thank you.
Can I
also, yes, please.
just looking at this number, did you have a chance also to review the stuff that was emailed to us from Mr. Brown?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm
Yes.
just, there seems to be a discrepancy between the amount that Mr. Brown was estimating and the startup cost here.
Actually, no.
No?
It might seem that way.
It does.
But yes, but I want to be able to explain that, and,
Please.
and I will.
Thank you.
But I will explain it later on. if that's
Absolutely.
okay.
Thank you.
Yes, because you will see that, well, shoot, I'll just share right now. Mr. Hogan Brown and his organization, or their organization, the Lacrosse Rebels, have or are willing to donate equipment, up to 40 equipment, gear for 40 players for each one, which would lower that cost dramatically. So that,
Thank you.
I just want to
Okay.
clear that up. So, yeah. Okay, there's also something else to consider. And I want this for all of you because I know this is a tough decision or tonight. Flag football is here. And the reason I'm bringing up flag football right now is because currently the northern section is working on adding flag football as a league sport. They're looking for ways to involve more female athletes within it. There are currently 2 teams in the northern section, although they play in the Sac Joaquin section, and they need 2 more female teams to be able to have a league here in the northern section. And so I also want to make sure that the board understands that all of these teams up here, once again, would have to travel to the Sac Joaquin section in order to participate in athletics. All right. In that same realm.
May
yes.
I clarify something?
Yes, please.
So if they were, you said that we would be invited by the Sacramento San Joaquin section, and that I'm sure that we would, because we're so wonderful, we would be accepted, right? But then would that become league play? So earlier in a slide, you talked about what the district funds, that they fund.
That would become league play. That would be our
Okay.
league. That is correct.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, thank
Uh-huh.
you.
Yeah, great question. Notice the season. And I want to make this also absolutely clear, that the season that it runs right now, if you are to choose any of the sports that are being offered in the spring, that you know and understand that we've already scheduled facilities in the spring. We schedule facilities in the fall, during the spring before. We schedule for the spring, in the fall before. So a lot of the facilities and teams, so on and so forth, have already booked. And so I just want to throw that out there, that if you are to choose any of these to add, that there's going to be some complications with scheduling field use. if turf and/or gym space is something that's going to be asked of. Okay. At the July 30th, 2025, there was a board meeting, and the motion was made to have a future discussion action item that included a discussion regarding lacrosse. So there was, actually, could you click on the lacrosse development plan? I'm just going to quickly just review this. The first, I want to be able to I know that Mr. Brown, he did cover this, but I want to cover this again. Yes. Here's what it is, just to be very transparent. It's a very detailed development plan starting from age 9, which they're called U10s, through high school. This plan also includes adding a girls' team. So I just want to throw that out there that they did address that. They stated goals are adding high school teams at Chico High School, PV, and Hamilton City. And for you to understand that, that would mean adding more teams in the northern section. They would only need one more to create a league in the northern section. So just for you to know. While simultaneously increasing 5th and 8th grade participation through their Chico Rebels teams. The plan also addresses middle school teams that would compete during the spring and eventually garnishing support to add those 2 additional teams to be able to play in the northern section. The second document shared is their budget, and if you don't mind clicking on that, awesome. The proposal is in support of transitioning the current Chico Rebels High lacrosse team into the 2 CIF teams, the one at Chico High and the one at PV. The Chico Rebels High School program is willing to donate, and here's where it's going to offset, 40 full sets of lacrosse gear to each team. There's also a detailed plan for donating penny uniforms and goals, not like I have goals, but goals, like where you put the ball in, yes. And ongoing, and they've also have a plan for ongoing support through fundraising. So they did address this in their plan. All right, if we can click out. Of course, when adding teams, we must consider the Title IX implications. And so, and this is equal opportunities regardless of sex. And if I read this verbatim, it is because this is extremely important that everyone understand the legalities of this. So there is, in determining whether equal athletic opportunities are available, the Title IX regulations require the Office of Compliance Review to consider whether a school is effectively accommodating the athletic interests and abilities of their male and female students. The OCR assesses compliance in any of the following ways. These options, which are 3. These options are commonly referred as a 3-part test. A school may use one of these 3 ways to demonstrate that it is fulfilling its legal duty to meet the athletic interests and abilities of students. So the first one, substantial proportionality. Athletic participation opportunities for male and female students should be provided in numbers substantially proportionate to their respective enrollments. If we go back to this number right here, let me go back here. Oh, this is our athletes, right? 45% of them are females. Our current population of females, just want to throw this out there, is 47. So we're pretty close. You got to remember that whatever sport you add, it can tip the balances. The unfortunate thing, it's very hard to gauge how. Okay, so I want to make that very clear. We don't know how it's going to tip the balance or the scales. Currently, for there, our athletes are 55% males, and our current population of males is 53%. Okay, so know that there's a 2% difference there. Let me go back. And of course, history and continuing practice of expansion. If one sex is underrepresented, the school may comply by showing a history of and continuing practice of expanding athletic opportunities for that sex in response to developing interests and abilities. So we got to be able to show that we're working towards making sure that they represent our current percentages of enrollment. Full and effective accommodation. If one sex is underrepresented, the school may also comply by showing that the athletic program fully and effectively accommodates the interests and abilities of that sex. So just want to make sure you guys have that knowledge.
So can you, is that like when my kids were at Chico High, at that time there was no girls wrestling team, but girls were allowed to then wrestle on just the Chico High wrestling team. Is that what that's addressing, that number?
Part of it.
Okay.
And the reason I say part of it is because Title IX does require that you match your enrollment rates. That is the biggest thing.
But
we're pretty darn close.
Yeah, my understanding is there's no exact number. It's not like Title IX says somewhere,
Exactly.
or there's no case law saying if you're 3% away, then you're in trouble, but if you're 2%, you're not.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's kind of up to if we get sued, then who.
Yeah, I don't like getting sued.
Just saying.
Yeah.
My other understanding is that we only have to meet one of these 3 tests, not all 3.
That is correct.
Yes, okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. And it's great information to have as you make a decision on adding a sport, because we don't know where it would tip the scales or if it would tip the scales. Hard to say until you do it. Middle school athletics, I'm going to call it building a pipeline. Currently, Chico Unified School District funds 2 sports in the middle schools. The first one is cross country, and it does have boys and girls, 6th through 8th grade. And between the 3 school sites, we have 180 students participating in cross country. It is awesome. If you ever get to go to one of the cross country matches, matter of fact, I should invite you, because then you'd probably go. It is incredible. These kids, I mean, they run up to 1.8 miles, and it's incredible that what they do. So, second one, we also do soccer. We have boys and girls, and every junior high has 2 teams for boys and girls. So total 4, and some have extra, just so you know. But we have over 300 students playing soccer, and we do we fund those. We pay for the coaches' stipends. Program growth areas. These are areas that we should all be considering is in the future, how to add, right, or consider this. But basketball, this is a club sport at the junior highs. So the only thing we do, Chico Unified School District, is we provide facilities. So just want to make that a note. At one point in time, way back when, the junior highs did have baseball, softball, volleyball, cheer wrestling. Those are non-existent at this moment. And so bringing those back, it's also a consideration. Coaching staff for some of these sports. I can tell you with regards to field improvements, all 3 junior highs would benefit from improved athletic fields. And then I can also tell you with regards to our current basketball teams, not ours, our club basketball teams, they would love any type of athletic director to be able to help them with scheduling. And of course, supervision at some of these games would be very, very nice. And this would be for soccer. For some reason, they didn't ask, or in speaking with the administrators at the middle schools, they didn't ask for supervision for cross country, but they did for soccer. I'm like, very interesting. Maybe because cross country, everybody's running, or those that don't want to run are not going to be there. So just want to throw that out there. We also have some future considerations. So the first one, of course, and this is not in any particular order. They're just thrown up here as considerations. But the first one that's there is expand team offerings at the high school. Expand middle school sports offerings, of course. Add pole vault to track and field teams at both high schools. Add custodial support. Our fields do take a lot of use, or not, I won't call it abuse because it's what kids, and that's what they do. They play on the fields, but it does require attention. And so custodial support is always meaningful. And of course, once again, adding an athletic director to the middle schools. Our athletic directors, they are present here today, and they will attest to some of these, and they can answer any or some of the questions that you may have with regards to some of these concerns or future considerations. But with that, team vans, and it's interesting, just so you know, with regards to facilities, we only have 2 turf fields. And so the demand on the 2 turf fields is high. Just about every single entity that does play sport, they do ask if they can use our turf fields. And of course, there's only one at Chico High, and there's only one at PV. And so just throwing that out there, adding practice facilities would be beneficial. And also add administrator support for supervision. This is in response to the junior high athletics. And then adding support, an athletic trainer, how to support an athletic trainer. What are our next steps? Well, for community members, let's continue doing what everybody here has been doing. Consider sponsorship, attend games to support student athletes, share professional expertise. I don't have any, but hey, I can cheer on students. For parents, join boosters. Both our boosters clubs at Chico High and PV are very, very, they do a great job supporting our athletic teams. But that's also for our junior highs. Maybe it's time that we start looking at booster clubs at the junior high levels. Volunteer for game management and reinforce academic and code of conduct expectations. I know the code of conduct and code night, it can be taxing on a lot of our parents, but I do believe that the message is strong and those that adhere to it see immediate benefits from it. For our administrators, when funds are available, consider athletic improvements, continue to support athletic custodial and site staff, and also adhere to our AR 6145.2. For our board members, provide guidance to Chico Unified School District leadership in regards to improving or growing our athletic programs. And I leave you with that. So at this point, I am here to answer questions. I have our athletic directors and our administrators in charge of our athletic directors and here as well.
I am curious what it would look like adding athletic directors at the middle school. Is this would this be like a 1-period release? Like what do you have any idea? First of all, I don't know what our ADs are. I'm unfamiliar with what the ADs do at Pleasant Valley and Chico High.
Okay.
Like, I don't know, do they have 2 release periods? Like, what does that look like?
Well, I have 2 of them here, so.
I would love to hear from them. Come on down.
All right.
I will say that we haven't given a lot of thought at this point about the junior high athletic directors, so we don't have answers to those questions tonight.
I understand. I'm just,
Fair enough.
since it's there. And Pedro invited us to ask. Blame Pedro if it's all on him.
And I can answer AD what we do. So we get 2 periods paid. 2 periods paid off. And we get a
Ms. Jackson,
stipend. Yes, Ms. Olson.
could you introduce yourself for people who may not know you?
Pam Jackson, Pleasant Valley.
Jason Alvester, Chico High.
What other questions did you have for me?
So you were saying that you get 2 periods of release?
Yes, and then
Okay.
we also get a stipend.
Okay. Thank you.
You're
That's
welcome.
similar to Oroville Union High School District.
Yeah.
So,
And what do your duties as an AD look like on a day-to-day basis?
It varies day to day.
I suspected it
But
would.
today, for instance, we worked on eligibility. So you're clearing athletes, making sure they have GPA, they've got a physical, they've got insurance. If they don't have those things, we're calling home, asking mom or dad to make sure that those things get taken care of. Today, I had to reschedule tennis matches that courts were too wet. We're working on scheduling for our spring sports. We're answering parent phone calls. We've got people calling in trying to get cleared to be parent drivers, and with the new procedure, that takes quite a bit of our time. We have kids that are coming in asking questions. They're trying to get cleared for whatever winter sport they're in, making sure that they're doing what their coach wants them to do to be able to be in the gym or out there on the field. Anything else?
I think, we're responsible for putting on athletic events. I spent a pretty good chunk of my day. We just got a brand new scoreboard in the Chico High gym, which Phil Morgan helped set up. So learning how that works and then teaching that to coaches who are going to be using it.
So, excuse me. I ask mostly because I'm wondering if we were to add more high school sports. Don't know if you've heard about some people asking us to add lacrosse. Would that necessitate a change in the amount of release time? Do you guys still do that in your 2 periods if we put more on your plate?
Right now, our plates are overflowing.
That's what I was afraid of. Okay.
A typical day for me is I'm getting to school around 7:30 and I'm leaving anywhere from 5:30 to 6 o'clock at night to make sure that every kid is eligible, that every coach is taken care of, that events are scheduled, I'm communicating with our opponents. Adding anything more is really putting us over the edge.
You might require some more support if we were to do that. Okay, that's what I'm hearing. Thank you.
Is that it? You want us to do a dance or anything?
I guess so. Thank you both very much for being here. I appreciate it. Any other questions for Pedro or the rest of staff?
Mrs. Robinson.
Am I on?
Yep. Yes.
Oh, there I am. And I hear the reports that we are scheduled through everything because of the sports we've already approved. If we were to add more use, or attempt to add more use of our fields and things, is there a way to gauge the amount of increase of wear and tear on the grass, the stadium turf, and how often does lacrosse practice? 'Cause
So I couldn't tell you how often lacrosse would practice, but I can have Mr. Brown here probably, or anybody else might be able to answer. Mr. Sparzo might be able to answer as well, how often they would practice. My guess is much like any other high school team, 5 days a week.
So I did a facility analysis plan last spring. I spent about a week driving around both campuses in the spring and seeing where people practice and such. Games, we would play probably 2 games a week in the CIF, I think is what we would play. First season, you can play less games, obviously, as it's a starting program. For practice at Chico High, there's grass in between. I can send you a map that I built out of it, but there's grass to practice. The thing with lacrosse is you probably, and I mean, I've seen Nick use the half court of a basketball court in size to practice. At PV, it's a little trickier. The PV program I built out would be, grass is pretty hard to find at PV in the spring from what I found, but the area that you would need is about a half a court. Would you?
Yeah, I'd say ideally, when I was in high school, 2 teams practice on one field. Ideally, you have, ideally you have 2 fields for each team, so you could utilize full field, but that's not as practical. But with lacrosse, you can easily use half a field to even a quarter of a field. And when I was in high school and had a team startup, I was not able to practice at my high school's facility for the very reasons you're addressing, right? And we had to practice off-site, and then the next year we were able to use the facilities once the planning allowed for it. So really, any field space can be made work. I can make a wall work. I can make a basketball court work.
While you're up there, sorry.
Well, I was going to say, part of the facilities plan that I looked at with Chico, his PV, is back before the baseball field at PV was turned into what it is now. It was very commonplace to practice and play at Doryland down the street. And that was a lot of just based on facility usages there. There is a park down from PV that would offer an off-site place to practice if need be. But, I mean, I've seen Nick make a wall work.
My question, and I apologize if you addressed this in one
Oh,
of
no,
your emails.
shoot.
Was the goal to create a JV and a varsity team?
I mean, obviously,
or
the goal, I mean, our goal is to create a JV varsity boys and girls team that both have, all 4 of those teams have 35 to 40 kids on them. That would be the overall goal, right? Like, all the leagues or teams that we would play have varsity and JV teams. Optimistically, I don't know if you're going to find 80 kids year 1, right? But like the model that I built out accounts for money set aside and growth, with that being the overall goal of having 160 kids playing lacrosse at both schools. And what you've seen in other schools, if you've seen that growth take anywhere from 2 to 4 years, and if you create a financial plan that sets money aside each year, that growth is accounted for. So that would be the goal.
While I have you guys up here, a question that I had that came up because I was on the committee that met prior to this workshop was, I'm trying to word it correctly. Basically, do you anticipate there would be an issue where one school might be dominant over another, like PV versus Chico?
Yeah, no, that's a really good question.
Potentially form 10ing, and I'm not suggesting that this is an issue. I'm just trying to, in my head, picture what this would look like if there's a dominant versus a less dominant team.
Yeah, no. So right now, if we take our, our Rebels are not in season right now, right? So I can't tell you who's coming out this spring and who didn't. But if you look at the average, and if you look at, say, last year's team, about half of the team is at each high school. So you legitimately have enough kids at each high school already that have played lacrosse to field 2 teams. And traditionally, it ebbs and flows. The beauty of lacrosse is you don't know who's out there, who's going to come out, man. Like, that's the beauty of it. We have kids that come out as high schoolers that have never touched a lacrosse stick before, and like maybe they were too short for basketball. They weren't quite big enough for football, but man, they can move, and you put a lacrosse stick in their hand, and that's their thing. So it's really tough to ask because we don't know who's going to come out. But the team right now, if you look at the Rebels high school team, it's about 50-50. I would say about 50% of those kids are playing, I'm just doing the quick math in my head, year-round. So no, I'd look forward to watching the game. I think either team could win.
Well, and I think if you look at the statistics of like the kids who are interested in lacrosse who are already potentially or are playing another sport, you're probably going to be gathering from the already attending crew at each high school.
Yeah, I mean, I can attest to a lot of our kids that come out to lacrosse. They're kids that, they're the 98th kid on the wrestling team. You know what I mean? We have a kid in our school in our program who's, I think Carlo's damn near 7 feet tall. And you see that kid walking around the first freshman year, he gets scooped up for the basketball team, but he sat on the bench his entire freshman year, so he wasn't going to do that. So he tried lacrosse, and now he's playing year-round lacrosse. So, it's lacrosse takes those kids that don't connect to those other sports. If you sit and watch a high school football game anywhere in any high school, there's 80 kids on the sidelines. There's a whole lot of those kids that aren't going to see the field that could contribute on a lacrosse team, and that's the beauty of the sport, right? You don't have to start when you're 6 years old. Like I tell people all the time, like, if you play lacrosse, you've been the kid who's never picked up a lacrosse stick, right? My kid will go play Division II, Division III NCAA lacrosse, but he remembers that first day he walked out there and didn't know which end of the stick to use. And everyone's been that kid on a lacrosse team. There's no kid that got a lacrosse stick handed to him from his dad at 2 years old. Like, everybody's been the new kid. And that's the beauty of it and why it's so inclusive.
So I heard you say that you did a facilities
Yeah.
kind of analysis.
I mean, let's be real. It's amateur hour facilities analysis, but
I understand. But, so facilities is going to be a challenge.
Absolutely.
Not something that, but a challenge. So what, do you guys have any thoughts on it?
Yeah, for sure. So I can,
Oh,
sorry.
I'm sorry, that's okay. I was just going to say that back in the day, I played on a co-ed softball
Yeah.
team for our foster family agency. We formed a team. And we were allowed to play at Citrus Elementary.
Yeah.
And that's, but we had to rotate kind of around to different spots.
Absolutely.
So I don't know whether that, anyway, I would love to hear
You're
your
talking
thoughts
to
about that.
you're talking to a group of kids who travel thousands of miles and play the same team 6 times a year just to play the sport. If they got to go to a park to practice, they're not going to bat an eye, right? So my thought process was, and I would never pretend to know the facilities of the athletic directors as better as that, this is my best idea. Traditionally, what other high schools have done is practice after track or practice in areas that track is not practicing, baseball or softball. We rent 20th Street Park right now for our practices. I've over budgeted the budget for that. That's a total option. Lacrosse will find a place to practice if we're in the loop, and let's work together collaboratively and figure this out. Games on the field are usually at night, so everyone's gone, or you have them around track meets and track practices. The facilities are obviously tracks first at that time of year because it serves the largest amount of kids. And schools within the Sac Joaquin usually work around track, right? That's the name of the game. I'm telling you, you're dealing with a group of people that have solved problems and are problem solvers to make this thing keep going where it's at. And you're looking at kids that all they've known is adversity and having to find a place to play. So, no, I don't see an issue as long as everybody is on the same team and willing to work together and make it happen,
Pedro, do you know if there are any, excuse me, rules or liability concerns about a team practicing off the school site?
No, I don't. But I do know that if we were to use any fields off-site, for example, like Card, which runs 20th Street, we do incur charges on that. So we do have an agreement with them, so we would have to adhere to that agreement.
Yeah, for sure.
I do,
I know, I was just going to say, I'm just clarifying because I wasn't sure the subject of your sentence, Hogan. When you said we've budgeted for that, do you mean in the budget that you submitted?
Yeah, so we
Okay.
we already pay for fields through Card for Chico Rebels. I mean, I would hope they'd give the school district a little better deal, but it's not. I mean, I think we pay under $1,000 for an entire season or something. I mean, I'd have to ask our financial guy, but it's not an insurmountable amount. And like Pedro, whenever I budget for anything, I try to take into account, it's not a deal breaker of an expense.
And so you're saying you actually put that in the
Yes, ma'am.
budget that you gave us?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you.
I wanted to go back and quickly answer Mrs. Robinson's question. She wanted to know about the field and how long they would last. And this is specifically to turf. Turf fields are intended to be used between 7 and 10 years. And so, yes, of course, the more that you use any type of turf fields, and it's not necessarily the use, but it's also the aggressiveness on the field itself. So if you are taking divots out of it, so on and so forth, then it can incur some additional wear that might be a little bit more than just running on it. So between 7 and 10 years.
And do we know, there might be a question for the ADs, how long we're looking for we need to replace turf at our high schools currently?
Well,
It's replaced 2 years ago here.
Yes, turf was replaced here at PV 2 years ago, is that correct?
Right.
And so Chico High is up for turf replacement. How many? 2 more years? Whoa, I saw 1 and 2. 2, okay, 2 more years.
Thank you.
And when you say how aggressively, I'm just curious, would you say like football is one of the more aggressive, or soccer, or I'm just curious?
I almost don't want to say it because...
Okay, don't. That's okay.
Field hockey, 1. So because you're taking a stick to it. Yeah, so.
Okay, thank you.
There. I mean, but that's, everybody has the right to play on the field. Everybody does, so.
Please.
That's okay. I'll just jump in. Question. Would you have to make a modification on any of the fields that you would gain access to if this were to be approved in order to make it a lacrosse?
Yeah, no, Chico Rebels already plays on both fields. We pay the district to play on them, so they're already actively hosting lacrosse games.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Okay, so Chico Rebels,
Yeah.
our club team, we rent both fields from the district already to play on. So you've been hosting lacrosse games for 3 years now? 3 years now already.
How often?
Oh, well, I mean, it's been a decreasing number just based on the number of teams we have to play, but I would say Chico High probably, yeah, go for it.
So when the turf fields were first adopted, there was a period in which almost half of all Rebels home games were played on PV's home field specifically. As Hogan was alluding to, that number has started decreasing in years, but many games have been played on PV's field specifically, as well as Chico High's. We've actually had huge play days hosting teams from all over the place at Chico High's fields to really great success. So many games have already been played on both of those fields. In terms of any alterations, lines can be added. We do that at card, but the current lines at both PV and Chico are suitable for lacrosse. Right? One thing that can be added is a custom crease. Right? That's the one thing that was not actually lined, but that can be added with just extra equipment, as well as nets to add safety for any kind of perimeter fans.
I want to get back to being more specific about how often you would be utilizing these fields.
I would say I'd have to look at each field, maybe 5 to 6 games.
For
5 to
your
6 times.
season that runs,
Correct.
okay.
And
Mr.
I hate to say it, we're already using it probably about 5 or 6 times a year.
Mr. Caldera, I'm back to concerns about the fact that we already have everything scheduled.
Correct.
What do we do with the teams, our teams, sanctioned teams, that are already scheduled in order to accommodate a new sport?
I do have our athletic directors here, and they might be better at answering this question. However, I'll give it my best shot, and that would be that they would need to modify the schedule to be able to, and/or adjust to make sure that all teams had an opportunity to use and/or play on the fields.
Modifying the schedule means, interpret that for me, please.
Adjusting times, days, hours.
Would lessening the number of days they practice be one of those adjustments?
I don't know about days, but because everybody will practice, right? And it's the sharing of the field, and that's important to understand, is that we're talking about if it's just a turf field.
Right.
If other teams, or whatever might be considered today, if they want to use a facility, you got to take that into account, what's currently being used, of course, and then make adjustments. Some of the teams will say, hey, you know what? I'm going to go play outside on the basketball court. All right, great, do it on the blacktop or a tennis court. So there's always adjustments that are going to be made.
Eileen, I could kind of weigh in on it for just a minute, just because my daughter plays volleyball currently at Chico High, and I'm really surprised with all the creative juggling they do with schedules. Certain teams will meet from like 4 to 6, and then 6 to 8, and then basketball might also get in there for an off-season like night. So I mean, they do manage to figure out how to share the spaces. I mean, that's talking about the gymnasium, which I'm sure would be almost more challenging than sharing field space. So I'm pretty amazed how they figure it out. It kind of creates a logistic nightmare for carpooling from my perspective, but they do make it work.
I can speak to other high schools that have adopted it and how they've done it. Oakmont, Nevada Union, Bear River, and Lincoln. So the turf field we would use that for games maybe 5 to 6 times, right? That's the big shared facility. And if it comes down to it and the ADs are like, man, we just don't have these windows, then, maybe we play 2 home games. You know what I mean? And then we reschedule or adjust schedules. But most lacrosse games are in the evening, like a football game, long after any other sports teams or track teams would be playing. The big conflict usually in the spring on the turf fields is the track, right? And most track meets don't conflict with the historic times that lacrosse games would be played, because those are really the only, it's the only time that a lacrosse team's going to say, hey, can we use the field, So.
How late would a lacrosse game go in a circumstance like that?
Let's be real. Like, you're talking to a group of people that if you told us we had to be out of there at a certain time, we'd be out of there, right? Like, traditionally most lacrosse games will start at, if you're a varsity team, like a 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 7 o'clock, that's all up to the league that we would be in, the capital. And, again, the people in lacrosse are so hungry for the sport to grow. If we told a Nevada Union, be like, hey, we got to play at 5 and we got to be out of here at 7, cool. We'll be there. We'll make that work, right? You're looking at people that are about as easygoing about how this goes and with the hope of growing the sport. So.
The perfect example is that we share one swimming pool in our entire district.
Yeah, hats off to the swim coaches.
Yeah, actually, I'm glad you talked about how there's a kid that never picked up a stick.
Yeah.
I have no idea how long lacrosse, like how long is a typical lacrosse game?
12 minutes
So walk
a quarter?
us through that. Like, are there quarters? Are
Yeah,
there
so
halves?
it's 12-minute
You know?
quarters. 12-minute quarters. Typically, a game will
Okay.
last around 2 hours. Not nearly as long as a football game, but around an hour and a half to 2 hours for an average lacrosse game.
Okay.
Do we have any more questions for staff or our guests?
Well, I had questions, but then they got answered, so I'm good.
That's convenient. Excuse me, again. I want to give everybody up here just maybe another minute or two to be thinking about it, because I don't want to say we're done and then suddenly realize we have more questions. Did we get an answer about, is there any way to estimate what the price tag might look like for increased field wear? Like, I hear we have to replace it sooner, but like, is there any way to put
I want to be absolutely clear. We don't know whether or not we have to replace it sooner. I mean, it could be anything, but of course, the more that you use a turf field, the sooner that you do.
But it's my understanding that they're already using the field, so there's no increase.
Yeah, no, if we say we don't have a high school team, I mean, don't take this the wrong way, but we're going to book the high school through the district to play our games anyway.
that I hear? I'm thinking about
And you
practices.
have been
Yeah.
for a couple, 3 years.
Well, there was a little break in there, but I would say the last 3 or 4 years consecutively. Yeah, PV's a little harder to book because I think the rugby teams play out there, so we're a lot more at Chico High than PV, but yeah.
Thank you.
So I'm seeing 3 kind of competing needs for our attention and time, which are adding extra sports at the high school level, adding extra sports at junior high, and if we do either of those things, adding support for administration and oversight, since I hear our athletic directors are pretty much booked up at this point. Anything else you guys think about that we really ought to be considering in terms of any action we might take today? What do you think?
Oh, I'm sorry, I have my mic already on. I was wondering, how many students, do you know, also participate in a CUSD sport currently and have added to the, at their own volition, lacrosse? They're dual sport students.
Half the team, maybe? I would say about half of our high school program. Our junior high, a lot less. A lot less.
I'll make one other comment to that. Just with the nature of sports, a lot of kids try out sports as their freshman and sophomore. So a lot of players will be multi-sport athletes as they enter into high school, and then they'll usually focus on one sport. So a lot of our athletes enter in as multi-sport, and then lacrosse tends to be the one that sticks with it. Sometimes they continue the other sports as well, but a lot of our athletes, especially once they become upperclassmen, tend to focus on lacrosse.
So I'm assuming that, like my mind's eye picture, I'm sorry that I don't know much about lacrosse.
Don't worry, I didn't either until my kid played. So,
but I'm assuming it's a lot of running.
you laugh. My kid hated running until he played lacrosse. No, no. I mean, there's obviously a physical conditioning element to it.
Oh, so it's not really true.
I don't know.
There's not about. Okay, thank you.
Depends on what position you play.
Okay.
It is a lot of running, for sure. It's, I'd say it's very comparable to field hockey. A lot of people compare it to ice hockey on the field, field hockey. But it's a lot of running. If you play defense, less running. If you play goalie, almost no running. But generally, and we've alluded to this, that's why it's such a beautiful sport. I mean, it works for so many people. Like, you can be the biggest, strongest guy on the field and do great. You can be the smallest, quickest guy and be better than the strongest guy. Right? You can be a big body type and be an incredible goalie. Like, it's an incredible sport for how many different physical body types, how many different mental states that it can work with. And it just allows for so much creativity, so much teamwork, and it really just provides a lot. So when I mentioned a lot of athletes enter playing multiple sports but then focus on lacrosse, that's not like because lacrosse makes them not like the other sports. It really does just have that gravitational pull. And once they experience other sports, they say, yeah, I'm going to focus on this one. It just has that inherent draw for a lot of different types of athletes.
Thanks.
Yeah, if you have a comment this time, that'd be great. So I'm going to give myself a little bit of time to kind of think over all this. So I apologize if silence makes you uncomfortable.
No, I would say too, the one thing about staffing and stuff like that is you have a community of people that would probably volunteer more than you were ready for them, you know? And if you look, when you look at junior high sports, I don't know how much you looked at what I sent in, but there's a real beautiful model in Oakland Unified School District of how a private club, Oakland Lacrosse, came along, and we're talking like they're maybe a year or two ahead of us, in a private club transitioning into CIF sports within the Oakland section and basically building supports down through the junior high levels and using the mentorship of the older boys and girls to help run those programs, help structure those programs. It was, if you want to look at something that's incredibly awesome for a community, look at Oakland Lacrosse. There's a lot of what you see that I literally was just, I don't have a better idea. We're doing that. So.
Thank you.
I did have you mentioned girls. I know
Yes,
that
ma'am.
you said that, does Chico State have a girls program?
Yes, Chico State has a girls program. They have they play in the the WCLA, the Women's Collegiate Lacrosse Association. Girls lacrosse, and I think I've said this to you. We used to have a very vibrant girls lacrosse program, and what happened is traditionally in more lacrosse, the East Coast, let's say, girls play field hockey in the fall and they play lacrosse in the spring. What has happened in our community, like with a lot of our sports, is girls field hockey is now varsity JV. It's incredibly competitive, right? Our teams are very good. Well, Miss Musselman, Kim Musselman, started a club lacrosse program in the spring. Or excuse me, a club field hockey program in the spring. And so hypothetically, or hypothesis of ours, is what started to happen was our girls that were traditionally field hockey players than lacrosse players started playing field hockey year-round to maintain competitiveness to, say, make the team in the fall. And we really saw our girls lacrosse team kind of crumble and go into basically a club field hockey team in the spring. So what we did to kind of hopefully counteract that is we had two young women come on, I think last year, from Chico State women's lacrosse program. We started bringing in younger junior high girls because the model is girls can play on a boys team until there's enough girls for a girls team. It's the same model that smaller schools in our section use for soccer. You know, if you'll play a soccer team that has boys and girls on it, and then once they field enough people for a girls soccer team, there'll be a girls soccer team.
And how many players is that?
Right now?
No, I'm saying what's required to field a team? Like
For
how
a
many
girls team?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
okay.
or boys. I mean, how many players are required?
My goals in reality, I mean, you could play with 12 or 13 boys and probably 12 or 13 girls. You know, I think a goal would be 20.
Okay.
You
Thank
know?
you. Mhm.
But man, I mean, we've played with 10, you know? So 10 are on the field at a time.
Okay.
You know?
No, I
The
didn't know.
average.
Now I do.
Yeah, so if to give you some numbers, the average collegiate lacrosse team for a men is 45. The average for a girls is about 47. Okay? So that's what I'm saying. Like, there's a lot of room for growth. And what's beautiful about lacrosse is if you have 45 kids on a team, they can all play by the nature of it. It's like ice hockey. Kid may play 60 seconds and come off the field, sit there for a minute, and then a new it's not soccer where if you pull out, you're done for that half and you got to sit or something like that. There's 30 to 40 kids playing every game in special situations. It's provides a lot of opportunity.
Thank you.
Sure. Yeah, I'll come. Oh, go ahead. No, you go.
You mean like play on the field at a time? 10 people on each side. Yeah. Girls is 12? Yeah, girls is more. Girls play 12 a side. Think of girls lacrosse and men's lacrosse kind of like baseball and softball. If you really know the sports, they're different, but to most of us, they're kind of this, similar,
Okay. So I'm a big supporter of sports, obviously. I have
Yes.
2 high school athletes, kids of my own at Chico High. I coach cross country, and I was a collegiate athlete myself, so I have a huge appreciation for all the character that goes, all the character that's built.
Yeah,
with
absolutely.
sports. I love sports, so I hope you understand my enthusiasm there, and if this goes to vote, I'll just put it out there. I'm going to be a supporter.
Thank you.
I think where I want a little more information and clarity,
Sure.
and this might come more from our side, is I see your enthusiasm in
Mhm.
donating the
Yeah.
equipment and providing support and the funds maybe to get it going, but I keep going back to like, how will we sustain this
Sure.
for years to come?
Absolutely.
So those would be my only questions and
Yeah, so
reservations.
I
of
created
moving forward.
I mean, so you understand my background. I started a national nonprofit. I started a nonprofit in this community about 15 years ago, and we've grown it to a multi-million-dollar national nonprofit. So I have a lot of experience with building fundraising structures that work. As a baseball coach, I coach baseball with Joe Gallaty over there. We raised $20,000-$30,000 a year in Hamilton City, which is hard to do. Sustainability is important. There's a lot of people in our circle that could write a check and we'd be done, but that's not how you build a sustainable program, right? So I would say to that is, you are looking at people that have sustained a 25-year program, right? And if we were just up here like, hey, we want to start this, I would say you probably want to question that a little more. But this sport's been done for 25 years in this community through grants, fundraising, and private donations. And so I'm not going anywhere. I don't think any of us are. My goal, if you're looking at it, is our organization of about 10 to 15 people, is you bring on the next generation, you get that generation up to speed, and that generation takes the ball. It's the same thing of any boosters club, right? You're an athlete, you're probably deep in the fundraising right now. And there's going to be some 8th grade parents that come in and take your spot, just like every boosters club, right? And so if you build sustainable fundraisers, you have grant paths through USA Lacrosse and PLL Assist, and then you have corporate donations. You build that 3-tiered system so there's a balance, right? You're not relying on one fundraiser. You're not relying on one grant. You're not relying on one donation, right? And if you build that and you build the fundraisers, it's fairly sustainable, And my goal is I've told Pedro and John this, aside from being a teacher, I'm a businessman. If I didn't think this would work economically, I wouldn't stand up here and put my name on it, right? Or anyone's. So when I look at the sustainability of it, lacrosse, if you talk to anyone, is a really cheap sport to run. There's no reconditioning of equipment. Basically, year-to-year cost is, referees, transportation, which is mainly based on the field hockey model, and some new balls. That's all you got to buy. There's not a huge overlaying cost once you start the program. So, people ask about how would you make this sustainable. I think any athletic program in a high school, there's a risk of insustainability because you don't know if the next generation of kids coming up are going to want to play it or if the parents are going to support it, right? So, we all take a risk when we run sports at a high school or we start a new team or buy new equipment. I would say that I'm be happy to go over our group's organization, and how I plan to do that or how we plan to set that up. It's all in the document there, but I don't think we're dealing with high-risk amounts of money, and there is flexibility in there. When I build the year-to-year budget, there's $1,000 in there for reserves every year, right? So, you're looking at donations, right? Economies fluctuate, right? Donations fluctuate. Boosters clubs are probably dealing with that right now. So if you build in overages in your fundraising, then you're going to be able to account for those lean years. So hopefully that answers your question.
I just want to say again, thank you to both of you and all of you.
I've been waiting 2.5 years to talk to someone about this, so thank you.
But it's nice when a presenter comes with both an idea and so much thorough documentation. It makes our life
I didn't want to give you any reason to say no.
I appreciate that. Given all that, do we have, are you guys ready to talk about motions associated with this item? Okay. Hi.
Everett Gephardt arrived, and I wondered if you guys might be willing to hear from him still.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Please.
Thank you.
Hi, so Everett, just so you know, hi, nice to meet you. You can have 3 minutes, all right? There's a timer back there. You'll get a little beep at when you have about 30 seconds left, okay?
All right, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Hello, everybody. If you know me, don't know me, my name is Everett. I've been playing lacrosse for 3 years and counting. I don't know where to begin to tell you how fun lacrosse me and my teammates have had, like playing lacrosse. So first of all, if someone's kid like wants to play a sport like baseball but doesn't feel like they don't like he her can't like make the team, or like if they have a backup sport, could be lacrosse, and that's like a
Someone can come up and help him find a spot, that'd be great.
You're fine. We can start the 3 minutes again. Couldn't we? Yeah. No worries. You're doing great.
So like if someone's kid wants to play a sport like baseball but doesn't feel and thinks they can make the team, they can have a backup sport, and that would to join lacrosse and at And it is a very fun sport where people make friends, and it is a very hard-working sport. Also, if you're looking up I was looking up some facts about lacrosse, and I found that lacrosse right now is one of the easier sports to get a college scholarship from. If we had it in high school, or students will get more experience and exposure and have a better chance at playing in college. Also, in the fall season right now, I swim, and I can say even with one swimming pool for Chico and PV, we get around 6 to 7 practices every week. Also, I've heard that a lot of past lacrosse players or people who haven't played lacrosse will join back or try lacrosse if it was offered as a sport through PV. Probably from Chico as well. And I feel that kids want to be a part of their high school teams, even if it means trying out for a new sport that they have never heard of. In conclusion, those are some reasons why I think lacrosse should be Pleasant Valley or Chico High School sport.
Thank
you.
Everett, what school do you go to, and what grade are you in?
I go to PV, and I'm a 9th grader.
I just want to applaud your courage coming up. You know, we have a whole audience of people, and you're one of just about 10 that came forward. So public speaking is one of the very hardest things to do, and you came up here, and I just really appreciate that courage and your perseverance. Good job.
Thank you.
Yeah. I think when I first spoke in front of this body about 9 years ago, I had the exact same reaction, honestly. Shepard was there for that. Yeah. It was not great. So thank you all of you for coming out. We really appreciate it. Having heard all this, now I would like to see if we have anyone who'd like to put a motion on the table. And the motion can be anything regarding, right, lacrosse or any of our athletic events, our athletic programs that we're talking about. So, do we have any motions regarding this item?
I'll motion that we add lacrosse as a spring sport.
I'll second that.
I would like to potentially add a friendly amendment,
Yes.
or at least a clarification.
Yes.
Are you talking about this year, or are you talking about the 26-27 school year?
I'm suggesting the 25-26 school year.
Okay, thank you.
And I still second that.
So we do have
Yes.
a motion and a second. Motion by Member Hayes, second by Member Olson. Do we have any further debate on this topic? Yes, Member Robinson.
Thank you. Just to clarify with administration to the 25-26 seasons for all of our current sports have already been set and scheduled. But the friendly amendment to start this with the 26-27 school year spring was denied.
Well, I'm making an amendment. I just asked her to clarify her original motion. So the motion as it stands is for the 25-26 school year.
Then I'm going to just on the record object to that timing of implementation if there is support.
Well, how about I would like to offer a substitute motion. I would like to make a substitute motion that we instead begin with the 26-27 school year for lacrosse. Is there a second for that?
I'll second that.
Okay. Any debate about that one? And I think we're having the same discussion here, so let's just open it up. How?
I guess if it's appropriate,
Please.
I'll just put it out there. Clarification and maybe getting some information, what would be involved in starting the season, this current school year, knowing that the fields that would be used would be not in conflict, let's say, with track, but then also, what about the other teams that are in the league? And do they already have their schedules set?
So I can tell you that because we would be applying to the sack walking section, there has been communication with the league commissioner. And so I can tell you that even before tonight's meeting and when conversations, and you could go back 1 year ago, the league commissioner said that he would work with Chico Unified School District in terms of scheduling any of potential lacrosse teams within their leagues. Of course, they have many leagues, not just one.
So, Pedro, just to be clear, while you said that the schedule is set, at least in your written communication regarding board questions, you said that it would be a challenge, but I didn't hear that it was an insurmountable challenge.
Without having the league commissioner here would be extremely difficult to answer that question. So I haven't asked them directly.
So are you saying that the league commissioner believes that it wouldn't happen this school year? Is that what I'm hearing you say?
No, what I'm saying is we would have to ask to be able to confirm whether it could happen this year or not.
But if the board approved it going forward in the 25-26 school year, and then it became impossible, obviously,
Correct.
Yes. That's beyond, I mean, if it's impossible, then it's impossible. But But we don't know that it's impossible.
Correct.
And we do know that it would be a scheduling challenge.
Yes.
And I'm not trying to diminish that, and I'm not trying to diminish the work that our athletic directors do. I know that the athletic directors I've worked with over in Oroville Union High School District, I know they feel like they don't have enough time in the day to get things done. I'm sympathetic to that. And I also, part of the reason that I clarified that I think it should be the 25-26 school year is that, well, several reasons. First of all, I didn't become familiar with this until this spring, but from what I understand, there have been ongoing conversations for years. And so I guess I look at our, students are at the heart of what we do. And I think that's important to allow if there's a possibility that I think those kids should have the opportunity in this spring and not being put off till next spring, simply because it's going to be a challenge for us. And I'm not trying, again, I'm not saying that, I'm not diminishing the fact that those are actual problems. I get field usage, I do understand that. But I also know that there are students that, like, the longer we wait, the longer we have, the fewer kids we have a chance to impact, is my point.
I hear that. My concern is also that we want to do it well, and we don't want to be accidentally scrambling last minute because we realize that fields aren't scheduled properly, or that we didn't get paperwork into the CIF because we're doing it in the last minute, or whatever it is. So while I'm actually very much in favor of adding lacrosse at some point, I do hear that our ADs might need some additional admin support to make all this happen, and I also hear that field use is already kind of planned out for all of the spring sports already. And I just want to make sure that when we do this, we roll it out in a way that is as smooth and easy for both students and our staff as possible.
I can appreciate that. And
disagree, and that's okay.
And disagree.
Yeah,
yes,
absolutely.
exactly right. I'm not saying that your point isn't a great one, because I do get planning things, it's like anything that you're doing, planning makes a huge difference on.
If we were to add any extra program, whether it were academic or sports, with 4 months notice now, I'd be a little nervous about whether we could really create a great plan to implement it well. I know we already have a lot of plans in the pipeline. I hear that.
I respect what you're saying. I think for the kids, if they played 2 games, that's a success, right?
I hear you. Yeah.
Likewise, I was trying to think if there was like a middle ground somewhere, like could you have like a scrimmage season or something along those lines?
So in the Sac Joaquin section, because we've gone back and forth on this, me and Pedro worked with us on a lot of different things. We basically have commitment from a good 5 to 6 teams. Like, you just tell us where and when we'll play you. I mean, even if the league doesn't let us in, these guys will come up and they get 2 scrimmages a year, right? So you start doing 2 scrimmages against us. There's 2, 4. You just kind of add up some of those games. You can enter and not be a a Sac Joaquin section team. You can just scrimmage those teams, as I understand. And I obviously ask, so I mean, if you do it year 1 and you have 4 scrimmage games, like, that's a success. So and that pulls kids in.
It used to be that when we were discussing action items, we would sometimes get recommendations from staff that were laid out. And I would love to hear, actually, just, you guys have all heard this too, and you guys have been in this conversation for a long time. Staff, Pedro especially, ADs, is it feasible to add it this year in a way that makes sense and that works for you guys?
I'd like to call up our ADs to answer
Please,
that
I think that's a
question.
great plan.
Our admin, maybe? Yeah?
I would say too, from my point of view, Tom, is while you're asking, I am a proponent of planning things out as well for the smoothest ride for everybody to start off. So that's where I look.
I hear you. Thank you.
So typically, we get schedules back in the spring for the entire school year. So to your point, getting schedules set up now for the spring is more cumbersome than what we are accustomed to. Could we add into the Sac Joaquin section? Yes, that definitely can happen. We are not familiar with the lacrosse rules, but I can say for sports that we have now, there's a limit on the number of scrimmages you can have. So to say that we're going to just scrimmage everybody on there is not necessarily a true CIF option. Those are rules that we'd have to look into and know nothing about it at this time. Questions that I would have in regards to adding a new sport would be how it affects everybody else that's going to be involved. And certainly we talked about Jason and I and the extra workload that it'll have there, but it also affects your admin team. And I know as you're looking at support, I would wonder if we're going to play 1 or 2 games a week, how much more we're adding to our admin teams already over full plate. And I know we talked about on the screen here, custodial, but you're talking about maintenance as well, making sure we've got people out there that can have the facilities be playable and respectable. Like Jason and Brandon and Joe and myself, we take a lot of pride in our facilities, and we want to make sure when these teams are coming that they're well taken care of. And when you have an extra group, and lacrosse is wonderful, and they've done great homework on it, I want people, if they're coming up to watch lacrosse, they go into our facilities and they can see that everything is well kept up. And that isn't going to keep happening if we keep adding sports without that periphery support. And I think some of that is forgotten, how important all the other support staff are, your custodial, your maintenance, your secretaries, people that are scheduling, the people in the office that are taking phone calls about, are you playing today because it's raining or not raining or lightning or whatever. I think we need to look at that big picture. Certainly being able to have time for us to circle our minds around everything that needs to happen would be very much appreciated. I did have questions about the monetary piece. I appreciate that they've got a great plan for money to sustain, but the question that came to my mind is who's managing all those grants that are being written to support this particular sport, and how does that affect the girls sports that maybe aren't getting the same amount of funding? We work really hard on both campuses to make sure that our boys and our girls sports are treated equitably. Sorry, I'll let you go.
No, that's perfect. I was just going to say, I really feel that, we have a meeting in late August every year with EAL, and our season is definitely planned out. And I really worry that if we tried to stick something in this year without planning and preparation, it would really make, it could really create some chaos, and we would be kind of starting off on the wrong foot bringing the sport in. Like Pam said, I think we want to do it right, the right way, and make sure that we're all prepared, because there's just so many things that go on behind the scenes. I mean, we haven't talked about, the transportation, the officials. I mean, nowadays, like this year, the California state law hit us with, parent drivers have to be fully fingerprinted, and so we can't just let kids go get in cars and just drive down to Sac Joaquin games. And that's been a really big headache for us, getting all that lined up. I also think that our budgets for this year and how much money we've allocated each team and each program are pretty well established too. And I know, like Pam said, the lacrosse is very well prepared and has a really great plan, but I don't think we can move forward without saying that our athletics budget would be impacted by that. So.
Thank you. I hear that. Walter Upper, do we have any other questions for our AD staff? Or sorry, you have something to say? Please, by all means. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Lando. And one more thing I just would like to add. I think we can all agree.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I apologize. Yes.
That's okay. Could
Brandon Kessler.
Thank you.
Assistant principal at Chico High School.
Thank you.
Deeply apologize. One of the things that was brought up was the finances and the ability to fundraise. Obviously, if we absorb this as a school sport, that fundraising, everything would have to be through sports boosters. So, which we welcome that. But currently, right now, I think both of our sites are attempting to, our sports boosters do a lot, I think, too much than what they are supposed to do. Right now, they're paying for our athletic trainers, which is a huge piece of our athletics programs, being able to provide safe environments for our athletes, recovery, treatment, all of that sort of stuff. And so I know a good portion of what we are going to generate through this Almond Bowl ticket sales is going to go to pay for that expense. So from our standpoint, we're going to these booster meetings and we're trying to alleviate some of those costs from them and that responsibility, that sustainability from the boosters program, coming up with that year in and year out to maintain high quality athletics programs at Chico High and PV. And now we're adding more to that boosters organization of reoccurring costs and saying that's going to be absorbed by the boosters. And this is my 8th year at Chico High School, and I've seen a lot of booster boards, and the ability to generate money is really, really high for us here at Chico High School right now. It hasn't always been that way. It hasn't always been that, except like, yes, let's give back to Chico High and do all of this stuff and write those checks. And so it ebbs and flows. And so when we are down in a down year, what does that look like? And that scares me a little bit, just being 100% honest. So
my understanding, and it could be a misunderstanding, was that the intention was that the Friends of Chico Lacrosse, they're still going to be, their plan is to do the fundraising and that the money would flow through the boosters, or it could be directly deposited. You know, there were different plans. That's my understanding. And so I'm wondering, how do you see that as problematic for boosters? If the boosters aren't having to do the fundraising, but just being the vehicle by which the district is legally able to receive those funds and then disperse those funds. So I just wanted to know what your concern is there.
Can you guarantee a certain number of years that we're going to receive that?
No, but none of your sports have guarantees of what boosters are going to be able to raise, whether that's for football or baseball or any of your. There's no guarantees about what I just heard was that there isn't a guarantee of what the boosters are going to be able to do.
Right, and I think that's the question. If we don't have a guarantee in any one year of what we currently offer, because Chico Unified has a pretty vast offering within our district, we're paying $100,000 through our boosters to pay for our athletic trainers to support all athletes. If we have a bad year and we add a new sport that has needs, what gives? How do we make sure that we aren't sacrificing the ones that have been here and have history within our school district, within our league, within our section? And again, I'm not saying this that I'm anti-lacrosse. I'm just looking long-term. I've seen a lot of sports get added and not a lot of change in budget, but obviously costs have gone up. You're looking at, $4.50 a mile for, or $4.50 a mile for a bus. That can add up.
Officials just double almost?
Officials' costs have gone up. So I'm just trying to make sure that we're not setting Jason and I up for a failure where we can't fund all of our sports. I'm looking for some sort of a guarantee, and I'm sure you guys can't give that to me today, but that we're looking at all of those expenses, and I appreciate that the district now pays for the league expenses, and that certainly helps. But we're still paying for league subs, and we're paying for league transportation. Those costs keep going up. So we add another team into the mix. If lacrosse takes an in-district employee, now we're paying for more subs than we were paying for before. So we're hoping that we could, and I don't know that this is even something we can do, that there is some sort of a guarantee from lacrosse about here's what we can do to give back and guarantee that that money will be there for a certain length of time while we build this program.
Well, would you like Mr. Hogan to speak to that again?
So just for the record, I've tried to get a meeting with both these two for about 3 years now, so I think that needs to be said. But for funding, as Pam's concerned about, I asked 2.5 years ago, like, tell me a number. Like, that'll appear in a North Valley Fund trust account, and it'll be there, okay? I was never told a number, and I was never asked, so I was asked to build a fundraising plan for sustainability, and that's what I built for you guys. For officials, official costs are built in there to the budget. Transportation's built on the field hockey model, where gate fees pay for 2 buses for field hockey, and then the rest is parent drivers, okay? Yes, there are all those costs that they're concerned about, and I think they're valid concerns, and all I would ask is to collaboratively work and make this all happen. Like, obviously, they have some concerns. Obviously, we can't cover everything. I don't work at the school. I don't know these things, but like, if this is gonna work, and again, it goes back to what Tisha's saying, if we're gonna service the kids, like, the kids are first. You got kids that want this. You have a community that wants it. It's the districts and the people that work for the district's job to find a way to make things happen for those kids. And so I welcome the idea to work with all these people here. And our organization is full of people that have been willing to work and ready to work and address these concerns. So I think a lot of this is stuff that's covered in the documents that I printed out with regards to the plan. Most of every of those concerns that they brought up are covered in there. You know, I can go through them if you want.
No. Did you send them to the ADs?
No, but they're in the board packet. I can send them to them. It sounds like they've seen them. Yeah.
Okay. You're right. It is in the board packet, which is public knowledge, but
Yeah,
it
for
might
sure.
be it might be nice for them.
For sure.
It's just easier not to have to
Absolutely.
go through. Yeah, if you could forward that to them, I think that would be helpful.
Sure. Any other questions?
I just have a comment.
Yeah.
And I don't remember who said it, but I'm going to take myself and make myself take a step backwards and say something different, a little bit different. Because as much as I do want lacrosse to start, someone said, and you guys have had time to really
For
work
sure.
on this, I do feel like, and, you know, lacrosse has had time to plan, that our ADs and admin also have time to plan.
Totally. I agree 100%.
And I don't know
Like,
that you've had any time to plan, and so.
25 to 26 is that, I mean, for everybody involved, them and us, that's a push, right? Like,
That's a push, and I want to respect
I
that it
think it
takes.
can be successful,
Yeah,
but if it's 26, 27, like, I'll probably sleep better.
I want it to be, Pam, as you were saying, you know, to have people come and be proud.
Absolutely.
And to give you guys the time to get it set up the right way. So that's my 2 cents worth.
Valid.
I 100% agree. I feel like, I'm trying to figure out the right words to say this. Just because you guys have the money and you can fund it, I
Totally.
want this to be a Chico unified
Absolutely.
vision and not something just like, we have
No,
the
we're-
funds and we want to push this forward. So
No.
I think,
I don't want you to think it's that way.
Yeah, giving a year
yeah.
to embrace it as Chico Unified and the time and to provide the support for the athletic directors
Absolutely.
makes 100% sense to me. And yeah, and also figuring out ways that we can support the staff that's already in place.
From the very beginning when I came to Pedro and John was, how do we work collaboratively on this, right? This is not going to be all our idea, because let's be real, we're going to be gone. It's going to be the parents that take it over. It's not going to be all your ideas. It's not going to be all John's. It's not going to be all Pam's or Joe's or anybody's. Like, we're all going to be gone eventually, and the goal is that this is still here, okay? And so,
I guess repeating just my idea, I want this to be sustainable for years
Absolutely.
to come, not just a fleeting idea like we
I
have
agree
the funds
100%.
here and it's here for a moment and then gone, but like something that we can maintain and sustain.
yeah, and
for
I'm
years to
confident
come.
we can do that. if we
and
work
not
together, a lot of
exhaust
smart
our
people.
staff in the meantime.
That makes sense. I work at a high school. I understand.
Member Robinson, did you have a comment or a question?
Yeah, one of the things that was mentioned was scrimmages.
Yes, ma'am.
And what I think I heard was that with 2 scrimmages times 5 teams, you increase.
So the option that we have, if we are not in a Sac Joaquin section league, but we are a CIF sanctioned sport,
Right.
is we can scrimmage teams, okay? Now, being not in a league, we may be limited to 2 scrimmages. I don't know. I'm with Pam. I'd have to check on that. I know existing Sac Joaquin section lacrosse teams are limited to 2 scrimmages. So they can scrimmage 2 teams, but they can play games against as many or whoever they want, limited by the game count that CIF gives them. So usually, like if you look at a football team, they have 10 games, 5 of them are in league, and then they pick 5 other non-league games and maybe a scrimmage. So we could very easily pick up non-league games or scrimmages to make a schedule without jumping right into a league.
There's costs involved with
Absolutely.
any scrimmage. And if you times it times the number that are probably allowed, we're getting back to where my concerns are.
Sure. So if you look at the budget, there's accounted for, I think, 10 games with officials based on official costs of a month ago. So.
Thank you.
Sure.
Good evening. Joe Gallaty, Assistant Principal, Pleasant Valley High School. We're just going to hit on a couple things. We are all for engaging our students. We think that these extracurricular opportunities are our greatest form of intervention and engaging them. Some considerations, like those trainer costs that are already at $100,000 that are fully funded by fundraising, those are going to go up. How much, I'm not sure, but it's going to go up because it'll take that trainer more hours to provide the services to the newly added teams. Transportation, like in the 4 of our realms, we're trying to stretch this saran wrap that's this big over a table that's this big constantly. And I think that just got a little more challenging. Transportation, just so you know, like, you know, if we don't have parent transportation, each site, and you guys probably know this, you're our board members, but we only get 2 buses per day, and we only get 3 vans. And we got a lot of teams in the mix. So a van's not an easy default, especially if you didn't sign up for it 2 to 3 weeks in advance. You know, buses, there's times where we've had a shortage of drivers, and these guys could speak to that if that's the current status, but we've had a shortage of drivers in the past. And then somebody said it a little bit earlier, but maintaining our facilities is a major challenge. There's areas within our stadium that aren't on any custodial map, therefore don't get maintenance, and we do it. We're fighting an ant problem in that area right now. Why? Because it was rented out, food is thrown away, not taken out, because there's no custodial in that area. We were told in the last 2 weeks, because we have a slippery surface that you're probably pretty informed about. Joe and Pam, you want to put sand on that. Find the equipment, because we don't have it. Find the labor, because we don't have it. You know, so what I'm speaking to is there's a shortage of some staff to maintain these facilities, and we're stretching it. We're stretching it pretty far. And you know, the funding side would be really, really nice to have some funding. You know that funding was cut some time ago in this district, and if we didn't have Chico Nissan doing what they're doing, and sports boosters, and groups just like this group behind you, well, we wouldn't be able to make it. You know, so thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gallaty. Appreciate it. Any further debate? The motion on the table is to begin introducing lacrosse 26-27 school year. Any further debate on that motion?
Mr. President, thank you. One of our board protocols calls for us to explain a no vote.
It does.
While I supported the substitute motion so that it could continue to be discussed, because I felt there was still a lot of information that needed to be discussed, I am going to vote no because of the concerns that were expressed by our athletic directors, our administration at the schools, and I believe that the lacrosse people wanted junior high and senior high so that there was a feeder program, and I haven't I haven't been convinced that any of that is possible. So that's going to be my no vote.
I appreciate your clarity. Seeing no further debate, I think I am going to go ahead and ask for a vote. And since we know we're going to have at least one no, I would like to do a roll call vote on this one. And as has become my habit, I'm going to start with you, Member Olson.
Clarification, this is for lacrosse to start the 26-27 school year?
That's the motion on the table currently, yes.
All right. Olson, aye.
Conkin, aye.
Lando, aye.
Hayes, aye.
Robinson, no.
That is 4-1, Member Robinson dissenting. The motion has passed. So it looks like we will be starting lacrosse in the 26-27 school year. On that note, I do want to say, first of all, thank you to you guys. You did make this happen, 100%. I wasn't convinced at first, and I think it'll be a great addition to our schools. As we move forward with this planning, I also want to say a huge thank you to our staff and our administrators. We realize we're putting more on your plate, and I sincerely hope that, and I'm sure that Friends of Lacrosse will do everything they can to work collaboratively and support us as we figure out what this means. I know it's a big lift for you guys. If there are more things that we need to do as a board, or actually we need to take to make sure this happens smoothly and in a way that is best for students and staff, I hope that you'll bring those to us. Are there any other motions that anyone would like to make regarding athletic programs in general? I don't, oh, yeah.
Not a motion,
Okay.
but I just want to say that I hope that we do see, I can appreciate Member Robinson saying she's not convinced, and that's okay. I think I hope that the vision of trickling down to junior high will happen. I'm hopeful of that, and so that's what I'd say.
I'd comment on the same. I know we all received the same emails, but there's definitely some discussion about middle school, and I think that should be, I mean, obviously we can't talk all the things in one meeting, but looking forward, I think that that should definitely be on our radar, looking at the middle schools.
Yes.
Thank you guys very much for being here. I appreciate it. Our next item is a board member request to agendize, and we do not have any request to agendize, is my understanding. Correct me if I'm wrong. Nope. Okay. Awesome. Given that, I would like to see if there's a motion for us to adjourn to closed session.
Motion to adjourn to closed session?
I second that.
All right. All in favor of adjourning to closed, say aye.
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 Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you very much.